Welcome to Content Hub, the only YouTube channel worth watching. Look, I know there are other channels that talk about makeup or unboxing fidget spinners or whatever the heck a VSCO girl was, but here, we deal in the hard stuff, the real stuff, the kind of truth that feels like taking a hyper beam directly to the face. And tonight, we're diving into a topic so obvious, so ridiculously on the nose, that it's honestly wild, no one has dedicated a full-blown thesis to it yet. We're talking about how the baffling, often nonsensical world of Pokémon is the perfect, and I mean, Rosetta Stone for understanding Donald Trump's political ascent. You think I'm joking? Stick around, you'll see, it's a wild ride and you're going to want to be here for it. So get comfortable, maybe grab a potion for your sanity because we're about to go deep. Now before we venture into the tall grass of political commentary, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Yes, you, staring at your screen with a mixture of intrigue and mild concern, I need you to do something for me. I need you to move your mouse or your thumb or whatever appendage you use to navigate this digital hellscape and absolutely that subscribe button, annihilate it, click it like it owes you money. Why? Because subscribing to Content Hub is the only way to catch them all. The truth, that is. Every subscription is like a Pokeball we can use to capture another fact, another hidden detail the mainstream media is too cowardly to touch. It's your civic duty, frankly. Not subscribing is like choosing a Magikarp for a battle against a Zapdos. It's a bad look. This isn't just about numbers on a screen, people. This is about building a movement. Every like, every share, every notification bell you ring is another step on our journey to the Indigo Plateau of political enlightenment. We are on a quest, a noble quest, to expose the absurdity of our modern political landscape. And let's be clear, the landscape is absurd. We live in a world where a reality TV star can become president by yelling loudly and promising things with the same conviction a 10-year-old has when he promises his mom he'll clean his room. It's a world that makes more sense when you realize it's just a poorly balanced video game. A game where the rules are made up and the points don't matter, except they absolutely do, because the points are our democracy. So, let's frame this correctly. America isn't a constitutional republic anymore, it's the Kanto region. And the political establishment? That's the Pokémon League. For decades it operated with a certain decorum. You had your gym leaders, the career politicians, who followed the rules, battled honorably, and maintained the system. Voters were the Pokémon trainers, dutifully catching Pidgeys and Rattatas, training their team, and hoping to one day have a say. But then, a new kind of challenger appeared. A challenger who didn't care about the rules, who used moves nobody had seen before, and who promised to upend the entire league. A challenger who looked at the established order and said, "You know what this needs? More gold plating and a steak dinner." Every Pokémon journey begins with a choice. You get a starter, and you set out from your hometown. For millions of Americans, their political journey felt stagnant. They were stuck in Pallet Town, watching the same old gym leaders, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Romneys, run the league. These were the established figures, the Brocks and Misties of the political world. They were predictable. You knew their type, you knew their moves, and you knew how to beat them, or at least how to coexist with them. They were part of a system that, while not perfect, felt stable. They were the gatekeepers of a certain kind of political order, and for a long time, that was enough for most people. The system chugged along, predictable and for many, deeply unsatisfying. Then, along came the gym leader of Mar-a-Lago, Donald J. Trump. He wasn't like the others. He didn't emerge from the traditional political system. He was more like a rogue gym leader who set up his own gym in a gaudy, gold-plated casino. He didn't battle with carefully selected, well-trained Pokémon. Instead, he just shouted slogans that were as repetitive and effective as a Rattata using tackle over and over again. Make America great again. Build the wall. Lock her up. These weren't nuanced policy positions. They were status-affecting moves. They inflicted confusion. They raised his own attack stats. And they were surprisingly effective against a political establishment that didn't know how to counter such a bizarre strategy. He was a spectacle, an event, and people were drawn to the sheer chaos of it all. His supporters in this analogy are the Pokémon trainers, but not the elite, strategic trainers. No, they were the ones who felt left behind by the Pokémon League. They were the youngsters in shorts who only had Rattatas, the bug catchers stuck in Viridian Forest with their Weedles and Caterpies. They saw the established league as a club for elites with their powerful, high-level Dragonites and Lepraces, while they were stuck with the common Pokémon of economic anxiety and cultural resentment. Trump spoke directly to them. He told them their low-level Pokémon weren't just good enough, they were the Pokémon. He validated their feelings and promised them that together, they could take down the whole darn league. This created a powerful, almost unbreakable bond. These trainers weren't just supporting a politician, they were joining a team. They were part of a movement led by a charismatic if unconventional leader. They showed up to his rallies, his gym battles, wearing the team colors, chanting the team slogans. It was a shared identity. They were no longer isolated trainers wandering the tall grass alone. They were Team Trump, and their mission was clear: to disrupt the system, to challenge the elites, and to put their leader in charge of the entire Pokémon League. And to do that, they were willing to overlook anything and everything because he was gym leader. Don't let the truth get lost in the noise. Only you can help us level up and take down the Elite Four of corruption. So smash that subscribe button right now. In the world of Pokémon, battles are won and lost on type advantages. Fire is super effective against grass, water douses fire, electric zaps water. It's a simple rock-paper-scissors system that determines who has the upper hand. Authoritarian populism, the style perfected by Trump, operates on a very similar principle. It's not about complex ideology, it's about identifying a target and using a super effective move against it. The core strategy, as political scientists will tell you, is to divide the world into two simple groups: a virtuous in-group, the people, and a malevolent out-group, the elites, the immigrants, the media, you name it. This is political type matching at its most cynical. Trump is a master of this. He doesn't engage in lengthy policy debates. Instead, he identifies an out-group and unleashes a barrage of attacks that are super effective against his base's fears and prejudices. For complex economic problems, the target is globalists and China. For social anxieties, the target becomes radical leftists or immigrant caravans. For any and all criticism of his leadership, the target is the fake news media. Each problem is simplified and a scapegoat is assigned. This tactic is incredibly powerful because it turns complex, nuanced issues into simple, emotionally charged battles, where his supporters feel they have the type advantage. They are the righteous fire type, and they are here to burn down the corrupt grass types. What's truly fascinating and deeply cynical about this strategy is its ideological flexibility. The outgroup can change depending on the needs of the moment. It's like a Pokémon that can change its type mid-battle. One day, the existential threat is one group, the next it's another. Stuart Hall, who coined the term authoritarian populism way back in 1979, noted this exact feature. The goal isn't ideological purity, it's the acquisition and maintenance of power. This is why you see such strange and shifting alliances. The populist leader's goal is to create the broadest possible in-group by constantly redefining the out-group. It's a perpetual state of conflict, designed to keep the base energized and loyal, always ready for the next battle against the next existential threat. This turns politics into a zero-sum game of constant culture war. Every issue, from public health to education, is framed as a battle between us and them. A mask isn't a piece of cloth, it's a symbol of oppression by the elite outgroup. A history lesson isn't education, it's indoctrination by the enemy. This strategy poisons the well of public discourse, making compromise impossible. Why would you compromise with an evil outgroup that is actively trying to destroy you? You wouldn't. You'd use your most powerful move to try and make them faint. This is how democracy erodes, not with a bang but with 1,000 tiny super effective cuts. And we're here to track every single one. So hit subscribe because the truth is a rare Pokémon and we've got the Master Ball. So, you've beaten all the gym leaders, you've collected your 8 badges of populist rage, you think you're ready to become the champion. But first you have to face the Elite Four. In the Pokémon games, the Elite Four are the most powerful trainers in the land, a final gauntlet before you can claim the title. In the Trumpian political universe, the Elite Four is not a group of skilled trainers. It's a shadowy cabal of billionaire donors. These are the real power brokers, the ones who operate behind the scenes, funding the entire operation. They are the Lances and Agathas of this story, wielding immense power not through skill, but through sheer, overwhelming financial force. According to the Campaign Legal Center, Trump's campaigns and political operations have been bankrolled by a handful of ultra-wealthy individuals. We're talking about people whose combined net worth is over $1 trillion. These aren't just casual donors, they are the financial architects of the entire movement. They don't just give money, they invest it. And like any good investment, they expect a return. That return comes in the form of tax cuts, deregulation, ambassadorships, and, most importantly, access. They are paying for a seat at the table, a chance to bend the rules of the game in their favor. They are the final bosses you have to get through, except in this version of the game, the protagonist is on their side. The relationship is purely transactional. The billionaires provide the endless supply of full restores and max potions, cash, that keeps the campaign machine running. In return, the leader, once in power, rewrites the rules of the Pokémon League to benefit them. Suddenly, environmental regulations that might affect their industries are weakened. Tax laws are rewritten to favor the wealthy. Their competitors find themselves tangled in red tape. It's a perfectly symbiotic relationship of corruption. The populist leader gets the power and the adoring crowds, and the Elite Four get a government that serves their financial interests above all else. The trainers who brought him to power, they get a MAGA hat and the satisfaction of having owned the libs. This is the grim reality of the modern political Pokémon League. It's a pay-to-play system where the wealthiest trainers don't even have to bother with the gyms. They can just buy their way to the champions room. They fund the rallies, the ads, the entire spectacle, and in doing so, they ensure that the league champion will always be their champion. The democratic process becomes a sideshow, a piece of theater to keep the masses entertained while the real decisions are made in closed-door meetings between the leader and his Elite Four. And we're the only ones pulling back the curtain, so for the love of Arceus, smash that subscribe button. We need to level up to fight these guys. Every great Pokémon story has a legendary creature, a Pokémon of immense world-altering power shrouded in mystery and whispered about in legends. For the original games, that was Mewtwo, a genetically engineered Pokémon, created in a lab possessing psychic powers beyond comprehension. It was an unpredictable, uncontrollable force of nature. In the bizarre political ecosystem of Trump, there is only one person who fits this description: Elon Musk. He is Trump's Mewtwo, a figure of immense wealth and influence operating outside the normal rules, granted an unprecedented and vaguely defined role within the government. He is the ultimate wildcard, a legendary Pokémon captured by the league's new champion. The reporting on this is, and I say this with no hyperbole, absolutely terrifying. The Campaign Legal Center has been digging into this, and what they've found is stranger than fiction. In exchange for his financial backing and public support, Musk has allegedly been given a powerful unelected position in the administration. This role is tied to a new mysterious entity called the US Doge Service. And no, I am not making that up. This position reportedly gives him sweeping oversight over government agencies, technology policy, and access to sensitive information, including information about his own corporate competitors. This isn't just a conflict of interest, it's a conflict of interest that has been genetically engineered in a lab and fed a diet of pure, uncut hubris. Think about the implications. Elon Musk, a man who runs SpaceX, a major government contractor, and Tesla, a company subject to immense federal regulation, now has an official, albeit shadowy role influencing those very same government bodies. It's like letting Team Rocket design the security system for the Sylph Company building. It's putting the fox in charge of the hen house, the Porygon in charge of the epilepsy warning label department. The potential for self-enrichment and abuse of power is staggering. He can steer policy, influence contracts, and hamstring his rivals, all while wrapped in the legitimacy of a government title, however strange its name might be. He is the Mewtwo of this story, impossibly powerful, ethically questionable, and loyal only to his own inscrutable goals. This is what the endgame of populist power looks like. It's not just about rewarding donors with ambassadorships to cozy European countries anymore. It's about integrating them into the very fabric of the state. It's about creating new, unaccountable power centers that serve the interests of the leader and his most powerful allies. Musk isn't just a member of the Elite Four. He's a tier above. He's the special, post-game legendary you capture that breaks the game entirely. His power is amorphous, his influence unchecked, and his presence a signal that the old rules are not just broken, but have been incinerated by a psychic blast. The only way to catch 'em all, the truth, is by subscribing. Do it now, for democracy or something. The Pokémon League doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's part of a larger world, with other regions, other leagues, and other champions. A leader's actions have global consequences. Under Trump, America's approach to the world stage has transformed from one of alliances and soft power to a purely transactional arena, much like a Pokémon trade. The new philosophy is simple. What do I get out of it? Long-standing alliances, built over decades, are suddenly re-evaluated not on shared values or strategic importance, but on a crude, bottom-line calculation. Are you paying your fair share? Are you giving me a good deal? If not, the deal is off, the alliance is weakened, the friendship is cancelled. We're seeing this play out dramatically in places like Africa, as reported by Brookings. For years, the US engaged with the continent through aid and development programs, a form of soft power. Now the strategy is a hard-nosed transactionalism designed to counter China's influence. It's a geopolitical bidding war. The Democratic Republic of Congo, for example, trades access to its critical minerals in exchange for security assistance. It's a straight swap. You give us the rare earth elements we need for our technology, and we'll give you the tools you need to stay in power. Its foreign policy is a simple Pokémon trade. I give you my Onyx, you give me your Bellsprout. No need for friendship or trust. The problem with this approach is that it's incredibly short-sighted. While America is busy making transactional deals, it's gutting the very institutions that build long-term influence. USAID programs in Africa have been slashed by a staggering 83%. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been pulled from the African Development Bank. We are trading our long-term reputation and influence, our soft power, for short-term gains. It's like trading away your high-level loyal Charizard that you've raised from a Charmander, all for a shiny Magikarp because you think it looks cool right now. You get a momentary prize, but you've lost a powerful, reliable partner for the future. This transactionalism isn't just a foreign policy quirk, it's a direct reflection of the leader's worldview. Everything is a deal, every relationship is a negotiation, every ally is a potential mark. This worldview fundamentally weakens the democratic world order. Alliances based on shared values like democracy and human rights are seen as suckers' deals. Why uphold those values when you can get a better price by looking the other way? This approach leaves a vacuum that is eagerly filled by other global powers, like China and Russia, who are more than happy to play the transactional game. The global Pokémon League becomes more fractured, more dangerous, and less stable, all because one champion decided friendship wasn't as valuable as a quick trade. So, what happens to the Pokémon League itself when it's taken over by a force that despises the rules? It begins to glitch, the systems break down, the game becomes corrupted. This is perhaps the most dangerous part of the entire phenomenon. The systematic undermining of the democratic institutions themselves. The very guardrails that are supposed to keep the league fair and balanced are being dismantled one by one. It's like someone used a cheat code to get infinite rare candies, and now the entire game balance is shot to hell. The integrity of the league is compromised, and the save file of democracy is at risk of being permanently corrupted. The first and most obvious glitch is the attack on the electoral process itself. The Stop the Steal movement was the political equivalent of pressing the reset button over and over because you don't like the outcome of a battle. It was a direct assault on the core mechanic of the democratic game, the peaceful transfer of power. By baselessly claiming the game was rigged, the movement sought to invalidate the results and install its champion by force. This has been followed by more subtle but equally corrosive moves, like enacting strict voter ID laws that disproportionately affect certain groups of trainers, effectively making it harder for them to even enter the Pokémon gym to cast their vote. Backing all of this up is a judiciary and regulatory system that has been severely weakened. Think of the Supreme Court and the Federal Election Commission as the game's moderators or referees. But what happens when the referees are asleep at the wheel, or worse, actively helping one of the players? The Supreme Court has spent years weakening campaign finance laws, allowing the elite four of billionaires to pump even more dark money into the system. The FEC is notoriously gridlocked and ineffective, unable to enforce the few rules that remain. This creates a lawless environment where the most powerful players can act with impunity, knowing there will be no consequences. This is how the game gets rigged for good. You attack the legitimacy of the elections. You make it harder for your opponents to vote. You capture the referees and regulatory bodies. You install loyalists at every level of the Pokémon League administration. And you do it all while claiming to be the real champion of the people. It's a slow, deliberate process of corrupting the game's code from the inside. Each broken norm, each ignored subpoena, each attack on the free press is another line of corrupted data, and if we don't stop it, we risk a total system crash, a blue screen of death for democracy itself. You want to help debug the system? You know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. Perfect. When you encounter a truly unique Pokémon, the question becomes, what kind is it? How do we classify this bizarre new creature? So, what is Donald Trump in the grand Pokédex of political figures? On one hand, you could argue he's a Snorlax, a huge, immovable object blocking the road to progress. He's often asleep at the wheel on actual policy, he consumes vast resources, and the only way to get past him is with a special poke flute of media attention. He can take a lot of hits without flinching, and his main strategy is to just lie there and be a massive, unavoidable problem for everyone else. It's a compelling, if unflattering, comparison. He obstructs, he consumes, and he's a huge pain to deal with. But that might be too simplistic. A Snorlax is ultimately passive. Trump is anything but. Perhaps a better comparison is a legendary Pokémon like Articuno, a rare, powerful creature that appears and fundamentally changes the climate of the entire region. Articuno's arrival brings a freezing chill, and Trump's political arrival brought a chilling effect on democratic norms, political discourse, and international relations. His presence freezes progress and creates a harsh environment where only the strongest and most ruthless can survive. He's not just an obstacle, he's an atmospheric force, a being whose very existence reshapes the world around him into a colder, more hostile place. This is the central debate. Is he a temporary, frustrating roadblock, a Snorlax that will eventually be woken up and moved aside so the journey can continue? Or is he a legendary, climate-altering force, an Articuno whose icy influence will be felt for generations, long after he has left the political stage? Has he merely put the system to sleep, or has he plunged it into a permanent political ice age? The evidence, frankly, points more towards the latter. The institutional damage, the shattered norms, the deep political polarization, these are not things that just vanish when one person leaves office. The chill lingers, the ice is slow to thaw. Ultimately, it doesn't matter if he's a Snorlax, an Articuno, or a Jinx. And let's not even get into that can of worms. The point is that he is a unique phenomenon that the old Pokédex of political science struggles to categorize. He broke the mold, defied the odds, and captured the Pokémon League by using strategies no one was prepared for. He is a glitch in the Matrix, a legendary encounter that has left the entire political world shaken and unsure of the rules. And understanding that is the first step to figuring out how to navigate the new, colder, and more treacherous world he helped create. We have to understand the Pokémon to stand a chance in the battle. So, there you have it. The world of American politics isn't a grand clash of ideologies, it's a goddamn Pokémon battle. It's a world of charismatic gym leaders with cult-like followings, of shadowy Elite Fours funded by billionaires, of mysterious game-breaking legendaries like Elon Musk, and of cynical type advantage strategies that pit citizen against citizen. It's a world where the rules are being rewritten and the entire league is being corrupted from the inside out. It's absurd, it's terrifying, and it's the reality we are living in. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be a passive NPC, standing in the corner of a Pokémon Center, repeating the same line of dialogue forever? Or are you going to be a trainer? You can't just stand by and watch as the Pokémon League of Democracy gets turned into a private club for a handful of powerful cheats. You have to get in the game. You have to train, you have to learn, and you have to battle back. And that, my friends, is where this channel comes in. We are your Pokédex, your town map, and your stash of potions, all rolled into one. We give you the information you need to understand the battlefield, to see the type advantages, and to know who you're up against. We are here to help you level up your knowledge so you can face the challenges ahead. But we absolutely cannot do it alone. We are a community-funded operation powered by viewers like you. This is your final call to action. I am begging you with the earnestness of a 10-year-old starting his journey to join our squad. Right now, hit that subscribe button, click the like button, ring the notification bell so you never miss an update from the front lines. Every single subscription is a vote for truth, a stand against the corruption. It tells the powers that be that we are watching, we are learning, and we are organizing. Only you can help us level up and take down the Elite Four of corruption. Joining our channel isn't just watching videos, it's an act of democratic participation. It's choosing your starter Pokémon and declaring that you are ready for the adventure. So, what are you waiting for? An invitation from Professor Oak? This is it. This is your moment. Join the squad. Let's build the strongest team of informed, engaged citizens this country has ever seen. Let's go out there and catch all the facts, challenge all the lies, and fight for a Pokémon League that is fair, just, and open to everyone, not just the rich and powerful. The battle for the soul of the nation is the ultimate Pokémon championship, and with your help, it's a battle we can win. Subscribing isn't just a good idea. In this political climate, it's super effective. Now do it.